Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Periscope. I am so excited to be joining you this evening and talking about women's sexual issues and the solutions. Thank you, Stefan, for joining me. Thank you all who are on. Kinney Quad, welcome. Quinn, welcome, Quinn. Clay, Zoraida, welcome, love. Welcome to all of my live viewers. Welcome to my replay viewers. Welcome to everyone. No bra, yes, it is a free world. So welcome. This is about, on this channel, we are talking about the things that are unspoken. All of the sexual taboo, sexuality, spirituality, how they connect, and really how to live a life that you want. I am not going to stand up, but thank you for asking. So tonight is a very, very special night. Thank you, Zoraida, for sharing. I invite you all to share with your friends, with your followers, with anyone who you think that this topic might be of interest to. As you all may know, and if you don't know, now you know, here on Periscope and through Sexuality Power, we are building a community of individuals who are really committed to living their sexuality to the fullest. So here we go. Last night, we had an amazing conversation about female sexual issues, right? So what are the most common issues that women face around their sexuality? And as we all learned, we really, women really struggle. Thank you, Clay, for sharing with your wife. We are really, women, 2/3 of women report having a sexual issue, self-report having a sexual issue. And for young women, the biggest issue is orgasm, and for older women, it's desire and satisfaction. So upon really coming together with the solutions points that I wanted to share with you all, I realized I don't want to bombard you and overwhelm you with a lot of information. So this is actually going to be a couple of nights. I'm not sure. I'm thinking 3 nights of solutions. I'm going to try to give you everything today, tomorrow, and Sunday, and kind of have this be a little series around solutions. But really, even if you don't have any sexual issues, some of these tips are really great tips that you can use to further heighten your orgasms, to connect more deeply with yourself and with your partner. So I think it's up to the woman. Yes and no, that there's a lot that goes into orgasm, and we'll talk about that as we go through tonight, and if not, tomorrow and Sunday. So today, I really want to talk specifically about desire, right? Because desire impacts everything, right? If there's no desire, if the desire is lacking or low, that's going to impact your orgasm, and is also going to impact satisfaction. So desire is where we're going to start. And then tomorrow we'll talk about orgasm, and then Sunday finish off with no desire to have an O. Okay. So, and then Sunday we will talk about the last one, which is satisfaction. Okay, so today, so to begin, the first thing that I recommend, give me 1 second. Gotta turn off the heater before it makes a lot of noise. So the first thing we want to focus on is self-exploration, and that's really how I want to approach the element of desire through self-exploration, because this is really what it boils down to. If you don't know you, it is very difficult to connect physically to yourself and be able to orgasm, and it's also difficult for someone else to assist you in achieving an orgasm. And also there's less satisfaction, there's less connection with yourself, which really leads to maybe a less intense of an orgasm and really impacts that level of satisfaction. So self-exploration definitely leads to desire. And really, I want to talk about it in two elements, in two different sections, the physical and the mental. So we'll begin with the mental and then move into the physical, right? So with the mental, you really want to begin to observe yourself and really begin to observe what are your sexual thoughts throughout the day. And really take note of this. I actually recommend buying a little notebook, the 50-cent notebooks that they sell at Rite Aid, that you can easily just stick in your purse or in your back pocket. And really, and this is also good for men, begin to take notice of what are your sexual thoughts throughout the day and write them down, right? So I thought of, I saw a beautiful woman's hair and I felt a bit aroused, right? I thought about pulling it, right? And that's a sexual thought, right? And you write that down. So you wanna start writing these down because these are they're very big clues for you as to the things that arouse you, right? And the things that arouse you cause desire. So you want to start taking note of that. The second thing you want to do is begin to think about, interesting, I've never heard of this practice, but makes sense. Zoraida, you're not going to hear of a lot of practices that I recommend because some of them I have come up with. So throughout my practice, my self-practice, but then also the practice that I have with my clients, these are techniques and tools and strategies that I have designed to really support my clients in their growth. And here you are getting them because you are such avid viewers and really I love sharing here on Periscope. So that is one of them, sexual thoughts throughout the day. Cool, self-taught, the best way to learn. Yeah. So the second thing that I want you all to focus on when it comes to the thoughts is, what are your thoughts about sex? What are your beliefs about sex? Right? Because your thoughts come from your beliefs, and your beliefs are held at a subconscious level. So you really want to tap into what is really coming up for you around sex, right? Like maybe you hear something, an article, or a news report that really talks about sex. Like what comes up for you? Is it shame? Is it guilt? Is it laughter? Is it humor? Like what sensations come up in your body as well when you have these thoughts? Really start to monitor that, and again, write it down, because that is going to be part of the self-reflection that you do to really continue that self-exploration and learning. The third thing that I want you all to focus on is, what are your thoughts during sex? And this is a big one, because, guilty, right? This is personal experience talking here. There are a lot of things that come up, just pop out of nowhere when you're in the moment, if you're not fully present, right? I remember years ago, I would be thinking about a paper I had to write. I would be thinking about like the phone calls I had to make, the appointments I had to schedule. Just random to-do lists would come up in the middle of sex. The worst time ever. And this is the case for a lot of women, right? So we want to start paying attention to what we're thinking about. Also, are insecurities coming up? Because if there's insecurities that are coming up, if we're having flashbacks to an experience we had in the past, all of these things are very noteworthy and things that we can explore really much deeper with ourselves to really heal and move on from them and really begin to tap into that present moment in the sexual act. So what thoughts are you having throughout the day? What are your thoughts about sex, and what are your thoughts during sex? That is part of the mental. The second aspect of the mental that I wanted to talk to you all about tonight is stimulation, right? And usually when we think of stimulation, we think of, masturbation, or we think of intercourse, because that's all, physically stimulating. But here we want to deal with the mind, and we want to deal with all of the buildup that it takes, right? Desire is something that is accumulative, right? So you can begin with a very small amount of desire, right? Someone can say, hey, do you want vanilla ice cream? And you might say, it sounds all right. And it's like, well, do you want vanilla ice cream with peanuts and caramel and whipped cream and strawberries and a Ferrero Rocher on top? Much more exciting, much more arousing, desiring, at least for me, right? Because I like vanilla ice cream and I like those things that I described. But really understanding that it's a build-up. If you just lay it out very simply and only engage in building up that stimulation in the moment of the act of sex, there's only but so far you're gonna get. So really building up that stimulation before the activity. And it can be as early as the morning before or a week before, if it's someone you're just dating and not in constant contact with. So really it can build. And you can also build this with yourself, right? You can, if you want to engage in self-play, you can build up to the moment when you're actually going to engage in it. So some things about mental stimulation. Texting. Beautiful technology that I love, right? Most women prefer to text. Over 66% of women prefer to text than to have a phone call. So ladies, let's use our own tool for our sexual benefits. Meaning, texting your partner naughty things, texting your partner your desires, your fantasies, romantic words, little caricatures is something that I highly, highly recommend. It engages not only your mental juices, it also begins the mental juices for them flowing, right? It begins the physical reaction as well, right? The act of texting and hitting that send button, right? That moment in and of itself is an arousing moment, right? And savor those moments, right? Take a 5-minute break, go to the bathroom and just sit and text away. Emojis are great, Zoraida. Thank you for sharing that. There's lots of emojis. There's Bitmoji where you can create a little image of yourself, and it comes with a bunch of, lovey-dovey caricatures and compilations of you in a sexy outfit on top of a cake, all types of things. So play around with it, make it playful, and do a play on words, right? And I'll talk about one way if you are not, if you're sitting there and you're saying, I can't, I don't have the words, I'm not creative. I have three amazing resources that I want to share with you. These are things that I trust, people I trust, sources I trust, that you can go to get inspiration or just to copy a couple of words out of it, right? So the first is look up at Mercedes author. Mercedes Cruz is an author. She is amazing. She actually has recently been nominated for an award, and I want to show you the book that she is featured in. As you can see, her name right there, Mercedes Cruz, and it's called Tie Me Up. And this book specifically is more focused on BDSM, and the stories are a compilation of short stories about BDSM, or an element of BDSM. And she also has a blog. So I also do her blog, and this is Cake and Feelings. This is the newest one that she did a few days ago. And this is her blog. It's called Mercedes Cruz Romance. She's a romance writer, and I really appreciate all that she puts out there. The second resource that I want to give you all is the website Lit Erotica, and I will show you as well. Lit Erotica, and this is all free short stories that people write and share for all to enjoy. So I definitely recommend this. And the last one is Erotica, and there are 7 erotica books, and these 7 books vary in the topics of the short stories. I want to also on Amazon. There's Erotica 4, Erotica 1, 2, and 7. 7 is the most recent, and I personally love number 7. So I definitely recommend that book as well. And that's similar to the Tie Me Up, a compilation of short stories. Although that one is more erotica. What makes erotica unique is that it is female erotica writers, a compilation of female writers. So those are the 3 resources for erotica that I recommend. And also, erotica in and of itself is a mental stimulation, right? So it does arouse you, it stimulates you, it gives you creativity, it gives you ideas of fantasies that you might have, right? Sometimes you don't know you have a fantasy until you read it. So I definitely recommend looking for, what's your type of erotica, because everyone has a type or a couple of types. But play around with it, explore, because in the exploration, you're going to find so much arousal and desire. So create a fantasy, right? Creating a fantasy is another way to stimulate yourself, and also to share that with your partner, because that also engages them in the arousal and desire process. So that's another one. For desire, in connection to satisfaction, also really defining what you want the experience to be like, to feel like. Role play is definitely another great way to continue spicing things up and increasing desire and arousal and adventure. So thank you for sharing that one, Zoraida. But going even with that, what do you want that role play experience to feel like? How do you want to walk away from that experience? What do you want your orgasm to be like? These are often things that we don't define. And then in relation to satisfaction, we are left wanting at times, because what we ended up having an expectation that we didn't even identify before, but then afterwards kind of presents itself to us. So really getting clear on what that experience should be like, and what would satisfaction feel like, look like, and what would it taste like to you. And then the last thing with the mental, which is really that's where I connect the mental with the physical, is engaging all of your senses, not only beforehand, but during the act of sex. So making sure that the room smells good, you smell good, they smell good, right? In terms of sight, make sure you're groomed. Feel sexy for yourself, and you're definitely going to feel sexy for them, right? And vice versa. Make sure that they are putting in the effort to feel, so that you feel like they're sexy, right? In terms of feeling, you know, smooth skin is very erotic. So skin is our largest sexual organ, right? So you want to make sure your skin is soft and smooth. If that's what you like, if you like rougher skin and that's your preference, make sure that's included in the element. So really just play into your senses, having mood music, right? Different people like to have sex to different types of music, but finding what is it for you, right? This is all about you. And then taste, right? So one of the things that I have quickly learned throughout the years, both in conversations with my clients and in my own life, is you want to taste something good in your mouth, right? You don't want to have someone's bad breath in your mouth. You don't want to, you know, taste the taste of cologne because it's not yummy. So you want to maybe play with different flavors. Coconut oil is very good. You can massage someone with coconut oil. You can use it as lubricant. You can use it in so many ways, and it also tastes good. So coconut oil is definitely one of the things I recommend. You can use strawberries. You can bring fruit into the room. You can bring food into the scene, right, of the sexual activity. So those are really the forms of stimulation that I encourage we all explore to really increase our level of desire, and also that self-exploration of what we want and how we're connecting the mind to the actual body and the physical experience of sex. So now let's talk about the physical. With self-exploration comes mirror work. And I'm not talking about staring at your eyes, although that's good for spiritual development. But I am actually talking about taking a mirror, laying down, and actually exploring your own vulva. And for those of you who might not know, the vulva is the entirety of the outside of your vagina. The vagina is in, the vulva is the out. So really exploring the vulva, getting to know it, getting to know like the curves and the contours and the shading, and you know what spots might have more nerve endings than others, because you want to guide that person who you're being intimate with when you're being intimate with them, so that they know where to please you to get you to the orgasm, right? Here I'm connecting them a little bit, the orgasm and the satisfaction, because that's really going to bring you the satisfaction and orgasm that you desire. Is that communication that happens once you know your body better than anyone else. So another way to physically connect and explore yourself is relaxation, right? And I really think of relaxation in two ways. Breath work. And breath work is really, really, really important, because breath work actually is necessary. It is a key component of orgasm. So breath work. And the best way to do breath work is through meditation. So that is the second way that I encourage relaxation and really exploring your body, the physical sensations through meditation, and really connecting to your sacral chakra, that second chakra right in between your belly button and your pubic bone. That energy center is really what you want to be connecting to when you are exploring yourself and meditating. And the third is pelvic massaging. So massaging your pubic bone area, that is very connecting. That also connects you to that second chakra. It connects you to your physical body. It moves energy around, and it really does lead to arousal. So those are some of the physical. Meditation is a useful tool for life. Yes, it is. And for sex, right? When you can really meditate into your body, you can actually meditate into your clitoris. You can meditate into your muscles in your vagina. You can begin to do Kegel exercises, contracting and releasing during your meditations. And that really does help not only strengthen your pelvic floor muscles, which help with orgasm, but also it helps you connect more with that area and feeling the sensations and heightening your experience of the senses and your nerve endings in that area. So these are the tips that I have for you on desire and self-exploration. Please stay tuned tomorrow and Sunday for a continuation of this topic. I am so excited to have all of you here with me tonight, and I hope you enjoyed this conversation. And until tomorrow, I wish you all a passionate evening. Happy Friday.